What's up, folks? Welcome, welcome, welcome. You see two of us on the screen, so you already know what that means. And I swear I didn't mean to make that rhyme. But here we are. It's still table time. Momentarily, I'm just gonna prepare you guys. You might be hearing double audio only because it's playing in my ear too. Because I'm trying to make sure the music isn't too loud for you guys. So let's get that out of the way really quick. If anybody thinks the music is too loud, please let me know. And then I'll switch the audio out of my ear so I can only hear Kenyon. But what's been happening with the software for whatever reason is when I switch back to monitor the stream, the music goes loud in my ear. And I'm just trying to make sure it's not happening to you guys. So we'll stick around here for a second. If you guys can give us the A-OK. I have the browser turned up, so you guys should be able to hear Kenyon just fine. So really quick, guys. Well, while we're waiting for that, let's just do the hellos. Y'all already know what we're getting into tonight. It's still table time, man. Fortunately, Tony couldn't make it tonight, but me and Kenyon will definitely do our best to give you guys a good show. Basically, recapping the game and freestyling. Just various topics. We don't have anything in particular. You guys can throw some questions our way. And I do see that we have a donation already. So we'll get right to that here in a second. Let's just do our quick hellos. And by that time, you guys should let me know if anything is too loud. Shout outs to Let's Toast Media, Jared Devil, Mr. Winningham, The Real Deal, 999, Drama Seidel, 007. Who else we got? Sasquatch. Hello, Miss Lanisha. How you doing this evening? Oh, and by the way, I don't know if Deb is here, but I do recall the possibility of Debbie coming on. So if you're here, we'll remind you again, feel free to come on with us tonight. Shadow Slayer, shout outs to you because you was the one who left the donation. So I'll come right back here in a second and read your question. Charlie Brown, The Real Missy. Hello, Miss Lady. How you doing this evening? Who else we got? Bill C117. I'm going to tell y'all right now, it's weird hearing myself in the headphones. It kind of reminds me of the recording days. And y'all know when y'all hear, especially in hip hop, you hear people say, turn the music up, turn me down. That's what they're talking about. You don't want to. I was always one who, my recording technique was I wanted to hear the music so I could feel the energy. I didn't want to hear me because you hear yourself anyway. You know what I mean? Like in your head. So it's weird having my voice like play my own double here in the background, but I'm gonna cut that off in a second. Real facts. Who else we got? C. Antoine Hill, Stillmatic, and Jordan Mid. Appreciate everybody coming through. There go Debbie. Hey, Debs. Miss Debs, first of all, how you doing this evening? And let me know if you want to come on tonight. I believe I still have your email. If not, I'll find it. I just have to shoot you a link. It's really simple. Well, the way we did it the last time. You probably remember how we did that. So just let me know. But anyway, real quick, Kenyon, did anybody confirm whether the music was too loud or not? I don't think they did. So how about this? I'm just going to cut myself off, and whether y'all hear music or not, no big deal. All right. There we go. So I cut that double off. So before me and Kenyon dive into it, man, let's get to the comment, and I'll answer it, and I'll let Kenyon answer it as well. Let's throw it up on the screen so you guys can see it. He says, Sim, I have a quick question. Do you think we can get some decent value for James Washington, and what would it be? What would be an ideal trade? I'll go really quick, man, and I'm sure me and Kenyon are probably going to, bounce off of each other, probably pretty much the same, response. We text about it already. Short and sweet. It's funny, side story really quick. It's funny that a lot of times when we have thoughts and then you hear guys that you respect have the same thoughts, you kind of know that you're on the right track. Me and Kenyon said right out the gate, I don't know what we get for him because A, he's in his last year. He's cheap, right? So a team would take him maybe if they need him, they need receiver help today. meaning this piece right here would take us over the top. Other than that, the risk is not too great, but the reward isn't that great either, because you would expect he comes to your team, has a great season, now his value's up. Is he going to re-sign with you? You don't know. So I think that alone is going to hurt the trade value that the Steelers will have. Do I think he's a decent enough talent to get something? Yes, but maybe not in this circumstance. So I would say I'm not trying to lowball him, man, but if we being honest, in that particular situation, I don't see teams budging, past a fifth. You're lucky if you get a fourth. And again, that's not talking about his talent, but again, you think other teams don't know that he's not a primary guy on the depth chart, and they don't know the situation with his contract. So you need two people to trade, man. It ain't just what we think we can get. So that's kind of how I feel about it. But what you think, Kenya, man? Well, how about this? Let's throw Kenya in a slightly different question. If we were to trade, do you foresee a team that he could go to, and what do you think we might be able to get for him?
I'd have to agree. You're not going to get anything higher than the fifth. I mean, it's just you're not. So, because if you look at him, he's not really a number one. He's a two, and there are certain teams that probably could use him, like maybe somebody like New England. They could probably use somebody like that. The Saints. I mean, the Saints have wide receiver issues, so the Saints would be a nice viable landing spot, but the Saints aren't going to give up anything more than you can get a fifth. I think that's his value, getting a fifth. But I just don't think. I mean, those rumors were refuted, so it's just hard to.
Right.
It's all speculation. So those rumors are refuted. So I don't know what you would. What I would. By Tomlin saying he won't, he hasn't asked for that trade. He has value for us, and it's just a tricky slope because you don't know if next year if he would be in play for them to re-sign, or would they try to re-sign Juju? But by the way, I'm really looking at it being realistic. I just think James Washington is gone. So, and Juju may be gone. I mean, might be a double win. So,
ain't no guarantee we keep him.
Yeah, I mean, I think James Washington. If you look at our receivers, James Washington James Washington, Claypool, and Juju are very similar in what they do, and if you had to rank them, James Washington would come in third in those types. If Claypool makes the jump that we think he's going to make, it really makes his role different in a way that this offense will be. He is the fourth receiver. He has to run second team, third team because of just the sets they may run. And you may only see Juju. I mean, I think Deontay may lose snaps depending on what they're running. You know what I mean? So, I like James Washington. He's been pretty good for us. But you're not getting anything higher than the fifth for him. And I'm saying that being positive. So he doesn't have enough production for me to, for value to, Colbert has skills, but I don't know if he has that type of skill. So
it's unfortunate, man, because James Washington just seems like, I'd take him on my team. Think about it. Over the last 2 seasons, he's one of the dudes who's made some of that bigger plays, downfield and all of that. But it's hard to say you're going to take Deontay off the field, which you're not.
Right.
You're going to take Juju off the field, which you're not. And then you can't take Claypool off the field just off of pure attributes.
Right.
Even with him being raw last year, you just can't. So it's hard, man. But, and again, y'all know I always give a lot of shout outs and credits to Steelers Depot. I heard Alex Kazor say, we really need him. Like to have that type of depth at fourth. Come on, man. I mean, James Washington is definitely a dude that can step right in. Or with Canada, we don't know how he's going to mix and match the offense. It could be situations where he has, again, think about running the football. Maybe it's a 11 personnel and it's a Juju, a Washington, and a Claypool for blocking. They all can block, so I don't want to trade him. I ain't ready to throw him out the window, man. But I think, unfortunately, depending on what his market is, you look at a guy like that, and he probably won't be back. We'll see, because the Steelers are always looking for a receiver. So we know that they're gonna probably go in the draft and look for another guy anyway. So depending on what kind of money he wants, and we're talking next year now, he's probably gone anyway. So with teams knowing that, do you trade for him? Unless you're in a situation where you like Kenyon said, maybe a Patriots team, somebody like that before the trade deadline, they feel like, we need another piece. He's cheap, so that would be the benefit. You can use that example both ways. At that time period, he might be cheap enough for somebody to take a chance, but we'll see, man. We shall see.
Yep.
Other than that, like I said, we just freestyling tonight, man. I guess the only other topic I'll throw at you. Hold on, really quick. Let me find this comment so I could get it off the screen. But thank you again, man, for the donation. And I don't know if you're going to hear this applause or not, but I threw it. Thank you so much, Shadow Slayer. Kenyon, chat, Steeler family. I can't believe I'm about to say this, but I'm going to ask Kenyon first. Am I being unfair to Cassius Marsh, man?
Oh, my God.
Am I being unfair to him after rewatching this game? And let me
God.
Yeah, I know. Let me preface this show, guys. We've watched the game. We're not anointing any of these players as the saviors. It's short sample size. Main reason why is you had a lot of guys in, a lot of guys out. So, but I would look at the game and I would look at each player that I was paying attention to and kind of noticing certain things. Have I been unfair to this dude, man? Only because, I'm the first one to kick him off the roster. I'm ready to, man, we need a number 3. We got Melvin Ingram. Man, we need somebody else to step up and be the number 4. And considering that alone, him being the 4th outside linebacker, because there's 2 other guys we're going to talk about tonight, I'm sure, that's competing. But what you think, Kenyon? Have I been a little too tough on this dude, man? Or is he just number 49 like you call him? Should I be still calling him 49, or should I be calling him Cassius Marsh with an opportunity to actually stick on the roster?
Look, I'm about to do something that I know nobody in the Steelers chat would think that I would do. 49 actually played well in that game.
He did, man.
Look, I watched the game again. He played well. He is the 4th linebacker. He has entrenched himself as the 4th linebacker. It is what it is. He got pressure. He actually held up good against the run.
Yeah.
He played well. He's still 49, but he played well. You know what I mean? I can't deny that he did not play well. It's one game, but his value is multiple because he plays special teams. So you have to look at him like, not only does he play pass rusher, outside linebacker, but he also is a core special team player. So 49 played well. I'm actually looking forward to watching him Thursday to see what he does Thursday, because he didn't surprise me, but he just played well, and I have to give it up. And I wrote it in my notes. I put 49 played well. And I hate to me and Sim are weird because we have a weird agreement. We kind of see things the same way. So it's kind of like I didn't even know he's going to spring that question on me. I wrote that in my notes, just to bring that up on the topics. So look, 49 played well. I got to give him a shot. It's one game. I can't take too much from one game, but I heard he's played well in training camp. I heard he's been playing well. I heard he's been doing everything well. So just by going by that, he's the 4th linebacker.
He is, man. I mean, Kenyon summed it up. The guy played well. Again, I know. Here's the funny thing: when you watch the game and you watch Twitter and stuff like that, and again, y'all know we like to, pick on each other as family. So we pick on some of you fans. It's amazing to me to see how players are judged so quickly. I mean, it'd be like 3 plays in. This dude sucks. And I'm like, I don't get it. But if you look at that game, Cassius Marsh showed himself, man. Even on the sack with Highsmith, what he did on that play, he did his job. He got where he needed to be. He basically identified the fake, jumped up in case the ball was coming out, and was still right there with Highsmith to, be like the co-sacker, if you will.
Yep.
But Highsmith move on that play, though, was just, my God, man. The quick, that's that Dwight Freeney quick spin inside. Keep watching that dude. But I saw a couple plays, man, with Marsh, scrape down the line, make a tackle after a yard or 2 gain. He was around the ball. From what I saw, he wasn't giving up the edge too much. I mean, he didn't look like a garbage guy, not whatsoever. And I think all of the outside linebackers that played that night showed some flash, which is another interesting question I'm going to ask. Might as well roll into it now since we're here. This is what I'm struggling with so far, guys. And Kenyon, because, he studies the roster the same way I do. I think I said on Tuesday, if I remember correctly, Thursday. It might have been Thursday, the post-game show.
Yeah.
I think I said that we were not going to keep 5 outside linebackers, and we more than likely will keep 5 inside, and usually the Steelers keep around 9. They don't usually do 10. Now I'm a little conflicted because when I look at the outside linebacker position, you almost forget about Melvin Ingram. So 1, 2, and 3 is locked up. If we're talking about Cassius Marsh playing better, and we already know he's probably number 4 on the depth chart, we saw some good things out of Jameer Jones, man, and Roche. And I would actually say, and Kenya said it early on, Jones probably was the best outside linebacker minus Highsmith that night. So now what do? I don't know if you put one of those guys on the practice squad because they might not survive. So do you cut Marsh? I don't know. He played well enough to still stay in that 4th spot, in my opinion. Not saying he outplayed the other 2 guys, but he didn't do enough for me to say, well, clearly I'm going to jump him. Now, if Jameer Jones continue to play like that, then we might be saying, yeah, he needs to be the number 4. Or Roche. Roche probably doesn't get cut because he's a draft pick, but maybe you practice squad him. But the potential there, to me, I know I'm early on this, guys, but he's not a two-czar skipper. I think he don't stick around on the practice squad. I think Roche's gone. Jameer Jones looks like the same thing. They gone. Like, I don't think you can tuck them in on the practice squad. Somebody's going to snatch them, especially the way that they perform. So now that takes me to middle linebacker. Competition is a little funny there, Kenyon, because we know we got Devin Bush. We got Spillane, which some people hate or love. And actually, I'm going to talk about Spillane too before I throw it to you. But we got them two. Then there's UG3, Buddy Johnson, Marcus Allen. I actually think there's a better chance of them possibly only keeping 4 there, because right now I think I know this is going to sound backwards, but follow where I'm going, guys. Right now, the outside linebacker position is stronger. There's more potential. Well, I ain't even going to count TJ. So let's just say there's more potential 2 through 5 than there is 3 through 5 on inside linebacker, if that makes sense. Marcus Allen, I mean, he's a tweener type of dude. You know, he came in as a safety. We all don't know what he's going to be at inside linebacker. It's not a guy I would really have to keep on my roster. UG3, I like his athleticism. We all know what we liked about him, but I need to see him have a little better showing than he had in that game. Like, I know it's one play, but you just can't miss that tackle right there. You know, but again, I'm not judging his whole preseason off of that. I still like him, but are we willing to say after what we saw that group is stronger than the outside linebacker group? No. So in my opinion, we might be looking at a situation where it's 5 outside linebackers and only 4 inside backers. So I definitely want to hear what your thoughts on that, Kenyon. But real quick about Robert Spillane, because I have it on my notes here. Wasn't his best showing, but I'm going to shoot him a little bit of bail on that one play that I know everybody's talking about because I saw it in the chat Thursday. I saw it on Twitter. Oh, he got smoked by the running back. Go back and watch the play. And maybe I show it on here, and I'm a little nervous to show it, guys, because, again, the NFL has been touchy, and I'm not trying to get these, the NFL being able to monetize my video. So I don't know. I might show it. Maybe I'll show something later in the show. So therefore, if they come at us, I could just cut that part of the show off because it's at the end. Maybe we'll do that. But on that one play, it was like 3rd down or something like that. They run the slant. What you guys probably didn't pay attention to is he got rubbed. Go back and look at the formation. Running back went inside. The outside receiver basically just stood there, acting as if he was about to go into his route. Created the natural pick, and then Spillane couldn't catch up. Now, I'm not shooting him bail in the sense of saying, it had that not happened, he wouldn't have given it up. But when I went back and saw it, I'm like, oh, come on, that happens. You can't judge him for that unless you want him to be a freak and he just fights through it, which that would be great, but we know he ain't that. So just wanted to give him a little bit of bail there, man. It wasn't like he just got toasted. They ran that pick action on him, and he just couldn't recover. And next thing you know, the running back has a catch. But what you think, Kenyon, man? Has your opinion changed as far as the position groups? Are we going to keep 9? Do you think it's a chance that we keep 10? And which group do you think is stronger at this point?
I mean, I just think that you're not going to really know. You don't know right now. You're not going to really know until after game 3 of preseason, because then it'll be a clearer picture because the first cuts would have been out. I mean, the first cuts will be after the second game. So we'll see what's up. As far as who you keep, let me just say this. 49, now I don't know if people understand this concept. He's really good on special teams. And if you show yourself in a game and you don't, as Sim said, they didn't catch up to him. Like they didn't outplay him in that game. You know what I mean? He played well. He played like you could put him in a game if somebody got injured. I mean, and as Sim said, with Melvin Ingram, so you have to think about it this way. 3 spots are locked up. There are 3 spots locked up.
Yeah.
Then you have to think about the 4th spot. And as of today, 49 is the 4th linebacker. Jameer Jones and Roche, they're rookies. I don't know if I think Pittsburgh will have no choice but to put one or either of them, both of them, on the practice squad. Like that may happen. You may lose somebody. It's just the reality of the business. As far as inside linebacker goes, people getting on Spillane is funny because that, as Sim said, he did get rubbed on that play, and I actually wrote that in my note, but Sim beat me to the punch. So it's just great that he did that. But let me tell you something. Spillane, if you're going to judge Spillane off one game and praise him off the Ravens game or praise him off the Titans game, those are regular season games. So which one am I taking seriously? The preseason game or the regular season game? Right. So, and as far as the other linebacker, look, UG3, you can't miss that tackle. I mean, look, all that's great, but you can't miss that tackle. I mean, that's third. That was 3rd and long. That's an easy play to make. He's just all you gotta do is wrap up, but he couldn't wrap up. You know what I mean? So to me, we like UG3 coming out, but I'm iffy on UG3. And the reason why I'm iffy is because you have a rookie, Buddy Johnson, is when he starts to learn and gets up to speed, I don't need UG3 anymore. You know what I mean? Because Buddy Johnson and UG3 are both athletic. So Buddy Johnson just doesn't know the system yet. And I like Buddy Johnson's upside. And Spillane is the one linebacker of the 4 that's a little bit different. Him and Marcus Allen, they're kind of like the coverage guys. Spillane can kind of do both, Marcus Allen is kind of like a coverage guy. You put him in nickel and he's good. And I think Marcus Allen has solidified himself a spot, a role on the team where you can put him on tight ends. You can put him, you know what I mean? He can do, that's what he can do. He's a converted safety. So I think he's kind of solidified himself a role on the team. He's been on practice squad. He's grinded. I like his grind, how he got to where he got to. So,
you know what I'm forgetting? If, and this is key, if Antoine Brooks Jr. ends up being the nickel, then there's a safety spot potentially open still, roster spot for Marcus Allen. Because if you move, if Brooks is now going to be considered a corner and he's in that group, depending on how many we keep, then that, you know, that opens up quote unquote safety, like an additional safety behind. I mean, you still need one, but it won't be like he could kind of play a dual role for us, I guess is what I'm saying. So maybe you get 3 safeties as opposed to 4 because he can do that too. Well,
once we get to the safeties, I'm going to disagree because once we get to the safeties,
all right,
that's gonna make a clearer picture. But I just like what Marcus Allen has done. He's great on special teams.
Yeah.
You can't, you know, he's a team guy. I think Tomlin likes him. I think it's a project that they like. You know what I mean? I think Marcus Allen is one of those guys that, you know, I don't think he'll ever be a starter, but I think he's a situational, a package guy, and I think he solidifies himself a role on the team so far. So, you know, to me, if I'm going up for one game or what's going on, it's Jameer Jones and Roche that's in trouble.
Yeah, man.
And UG3, like those are 3 guys to me that I would really, if I was them, I would have to show in the next 2 to 3 games because I think they're all played in those games. So you'll see, you know, we'll get a nice little picture of those players. So
Jones got to give us another game like that. Now we got a conversation.
Yep. He has to do it again because Roche played well. Jamil just played a little bit better. But Roche played well. He didn't play bad. He played well too. I mean, I do agree they're not like, you know, they're not like Skipper. They're a little bit different. You know, and if you want to have a real conversation, Skipper was getting sacks. If you remember when he was a rookie, I mean, he was really showing out. So
and special teams when that last game.
So, come on, man. So to me, I look at it like, you know, it's one game. We'll see Thursday how they play. We'll see game 3, which is kind of like what they call a dress rehearsal. We'll see how they play in that game. And then in the 4th game, that game matters because that's really when you find out. So, you know, those 3 to me, I'm really keeping an eye on Jameer Jones because I like Jameer Jones. I told you guys in the chat, I love the way he played. He was the best linebacker besides, you know, Highsmith to me. But as Sim said, Ingram hasn't played, and if you've been here in practice, Ingram has been blowing up runs.
Mm-hmm.
He's been doing this, blowing up runs. So, you know, we got 3 little studs. That was a little sneaky undercover signing that we made. You know what I mean? And Ingram is going to pay dividends for us. So I'm cool. That's at this point. That's where I'm at. I'm with those 3. Sim. Those 3 guys to me are the guys I'm really going to keep an eye on, and I'm pretty sure you will too.
Yeah.
So,
and you know what? It's funny, guys. Like we all have amnesia sometimes because even with me, with Skipper, when I made that comparison, like Kenyon helped me remember. Yeah, Skipper was getting off in preseason. That's why we all wanted him on the team, strip sacks and everything. So yeah, how soon we forget. So yeah, Jameer Jones got to do that again, one more time, and then it's a real conversation. Just to answer Debbie's question real quick, she says, can we keep Marsh and sacrifice another position spot like wide receiver or another? I don't know, Debs. It's a little tough at receiver because I have a feeling worst case scenario, the Steelers will keep 5 like they did last year, and we probably already know that group unless one of those other guys, you know, really stand out, unless a guy like Sexton or somebody like that can, you know, fight for that special teams role.
Mm-hmm.
You know, then I think it's going to be who we know. You know, Juju and Claypool, Washington, Johnson, and then McLeod. So I don't know if there's another. I can't think right now. Maybe Kenya knows if there's another position group we might be able to sacrifice a spot. I'm not sure though.
I mean, well, I mean, they're going to keep offensive linemen. They're going to keep. I mean, Devs, the only way I can answer the question is I don't think Marsh is in jeopardy. Like I don't.
Yeah.
As of today, I'm not looking at Marsh as a person that will be on the cut list or could get cut. I basically think he's on it. Things working for him. He has a special team coach, and he has if he keeps playing the way he's playing.
Yeah.
So I don't think Marsh is an issue. I think, as Sim said, we'll only keep 5 receivers. Unless Sexton will have to do what he did last week and do it multiple times and then show a little bit. And then, I think we'll keep 5 receivers. It's just the way it's gonna go. I mean, unless somebody gets hurt. And Sexton really, as far as the other receivers, I wouldn't even rank him 6th because, you keep hearing about Bussy. And they said Bussy's playing better than him.
Bussy.
So, as of right now, I think it's going to be 5. As Sim says, it's going to be the same 5. Maybe a tight end. I mean, we have 5 tight ends. And if you watch the game, which is another one I made, look, Kevin Rader.
Man, yeah, I got it right here on my notes.
Kevin Rader, man. Look, if you watch the game and you watch the touchdown that Kalen Ballage got, the person who opened that hole, who blew it up, was Kevin Rader. He pushed the lineman all the way. He ran right behind him. Kevin Rader can block. He's the best blocking tight end on that team. Now, his receiving is an issue, but he might make the team just because of the way he blocks. And with this new offense, he might be vital. You know what I mean? I think, I think one of those tight ends won't make it. One of them will be on the practice squad. Zach Gentry played well. I'm not going to say he didn't play bad. Because you have to look at Ebron's on the squad. So you have to look at it like that. Ebron's on the squad. Brian Muth is on the squad. They're on the squad. So you have to look at it. It's a battle between 3 people, maybe for 2 spots. That's how you got to look at it. So
that kid, nothing.
Nah.
He ain't going nowhere.
You're not gonna make it.
Yeah.
So
Gentry had a couple moments where he had a decent block. I kind of got on him after the game about that drop, but it was good defense. It's bang bang. I was picking with him because he's so big, but that's
right.
I'm not gonna knock him for that. After I looked at the game again, but Raider, man, even on the first carry for Najee, they ran like a little split zone, and you see Raider come down. That dude, man. But definitely on the Kalen Ballage. And there's a couple other times where he's sticking his head in there.
Yeah.
And yeah, man, I think he did very well, may have solidified a spot for himself. We'll see. Right now, I probably would say I'd take him over Gentry only because he's shown up more. We know when the Steelers went and got him last year, it was for that purpose, that more that type of tight end. So if he's added to his game, then we'll see. I think he has a spot. Let's see. Sticking with the theme of blocking, we can go O-line, man. I'm gonna be honest. I didn't watch everybody. There was only a couple guys I was keeping my eyes on. I really can't wait to see Dotson get back in the fold. Yeah. But I took a look at my man Dan Moore Jr. and Kendrick Green, and both of these guys, man, they impressed me. They weren't great, but they wasn't bad at all. Kendrick, listen, we knew this. We called this after he got drafted. They already pulling him from the center position. We already saw it in this game where he's snapping and pulling and getting out. And if y'all go look at, man, I want to show the footage. I'm just nervous to do it right now because of the NFL, man. But it was a play where I think it's in the first quarter. Actually, I got it notated here. I said, yes, first quarter, 6 minutes and 57 seconds into the game. And I notated here that he has to keep his head on a swivel. Remember the play? It was a quick pass to Deontay Johnson, I believe.
Yeah.
And Michael Parsons made the tackle. But if Kendrick Green just happens to turn his head a little bit and blocks Parsons, I don't know how far that go. Because if you look at the replay, he continues to run down the field. Raider or was it Gentry? One of those dudes got the first block. There was nobody else there.
Yeah, that was Gentry. That was Zach Gentry.
It was Gentry. Okay. Nobody else was there. Like Green, you see him run off the screen. That's how far ahead of the pack that he was. And clearly nobody was there. Maybe the safety was somewhere. But if he happens to turn and hits Parsons, that play might have went for a touchdown, or at least it was a huge gain. So, if you want to knock him a little bit, again, keep your head on a swivel. But it's funny, guys. I always try to compare the real world. It's funny when I do my little Madden critiques. Stuff like that happens in real life. He ran right past it. Like, guys, this might be a pause statement, as I was going to say the mic is close to my mouth here. Pause. But if you see where the mic is at, the dude literally was right there. Like, Parsons is right here. All he had to do was glance. But it happens. He probably was, he was stuck on the assignment. He thought he had, green grass in front of him. But that's the only minor critique I would give him. But outside of that, man, Kenyon, I don't know if you had any critiques on the rest of those guys. Coward, I didn't watch too much of him, but I guess he did decent. But I really was looking more so at Green and Dan Moore. I think they represented themselves well. Green even looked good in pass pro. Like,
yes.
Standing dudes up, bro. So
yes.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say he's probably going to be the starter. We'll see, but he didn't do anything in that game that make me feel like, nah, maybe he's not ready. The tenacity was there. The agility was there. Everything we saw on tape. Like, I'm telling y'all, go watch that play if you got Game Pass. It's at 6:57. Even though he didn't hit Parsons, just look how fast he gets down the field. It was, man, it reminded me of Pouncey for about 2 seconds. Young Pouncey. But what you think, man? Did you watch anybody else on the offensive line? Like, anybody else worth it? Like, what did you notice?
I did essentially what you did. I watched Kendrick Green do a couple of plays where I said, he's just athletic. He's an athletic freak. Once he puts it all together, he has a chance to be really, really good. Really, really good. You hate those comparisons to our former center, Marquise Pouncey, but look, Green is super athletic, and as Sim said on pass pro, he was good in pass pro. There was a play that Najee was running, and Kendrick Green, rolled out, and he just got there a little bit too early. You saw it. You said, oh, if he just gets there and waits, Najee's running like 25 yards. It was just, look, Kendrick Green is really impressing me because he came into camp ready. He came into camp ready. He wants this. You see him progressing. I love what I'm seeing from Kendrick Green. I agree with you with Dan Moore. Dan Moore. We may look back on that pick and say to ourselves, yo, you have to give it up.
He didn't look bad, man.
He looked like a really good player. And look, I just want to watch him. I don't want to say too much and put too much on him. I just want to watch him progress. That's all I want. I just want progression. Those are really the two guys I watched, because the other lineman in me, I watched Coward a little bit, but he didn't do anything to make me say, well, he can't play.
Yeah. Looked right a little slow at times in comparison
I would agree with that.
to the other guys.
I would agree with that. But look, he was playing left guard. That's not really, he's really supposed to be a backup. And once Dotson gets back into speed, Dotson should be starting. I'll put the question there. But I like what I saw. The offensive lineman as a whole, played very well. You have to really think about it. They played well. They didn't, look, they had no penalties. In the first quarter, second quarter, there were no penalties. So they played well to me. And they ran a vanilla offense. I mean, that's not our offense, which is something I find people in the chat. I'm like, that's not our offense. He's not showing you anything. So I won't know. Really, I won't know till game 3. And it's really only going to be like a light version of it. We're really not going to really see what we're going to be doing. So I agree with Sim. The offensive line played well. Those 3 people I focused on. I'm not focusing on the other guys. I'm just thinking about people who may start. I'm looking at it like that.
Right.
Who can start for us? Because some of those guys may not make the team. So, but yeah, Kendrick Green, man. Yeah, I'm with you. Look, I had to rewind back, watch it because of Kendrick Green.
He got a
good, shot. Man. He got a shot to be really, really good. So
he looked really good. Shadow Slayer, man. Yes. Round of applause to you. Another donation. I think you guys might hear it this time. But man, what do you think about the Kevin Dotson situation? Well, I'll keep it short and sweet, and then we'll definitely get Kenyon's thoughts. Honestly, I don't think it's a situation. Especially after, and I'll be honest, I'm cheating because I listened to Kevin Dotson's interview today. After hearing what he had to say, I think it's exactly what he said. I think the media is blowing it out of proportion as far as Tomlin saying, I don't think he's done enough. Come on, man. Y'all know Tomlin. We know Tomlin, us fans that have really been here for years. We know how he talks, how he motivates, how he pushes buttons, how he diverts, how he throws little, like we know what that meant. To me, he was just saying, listen, he ain't did nothing this year. We all know why. It has a minor injury. He said it himself. That wasn't him saying that, Coward has outplayed him. Tomlin said it very matter of fact. And again, y'all know how the media does. They got to make it juicy. It's a story. Tomlin says the second-year player hasn't done. And if we're being honest, what if Tomlin actually said that? Well, let's be fair. Dotson only played a few games. I mean, from a coach's standpoint, that actually could have been what he meant, but I don't think so. But even if he did say that, so what? If he's lighting a fire, he says, I don't think he's done. Let's take the media narrative. I would prefer for him to feel that pressure. It's competition.
Yep.
So what's the big deal? But even with that said, Tomlin didn't mean it that way. I think it's exactly what Kevin Dotson said. Fact of the matter is, he says, hey, man, I haven't even practiced. He said it himself. So we're getting it from the horse's mouth. There is no situation. The only thing that does concern me is there a real injury? So I want to see him on the field. And what I mean by real is it something that's not going away? Because even he said, it's a nagging injury. We tried a couple shots. He was talking about the blood things. It's weird. I swear I've heard shots before with.
Yeah, they spin your blood. Yeah, they spin your blood.
But I didn't know they did that for injury purposes. But maybe I'm thinking about something else. But I don't know. But yeah, I mean, listen, that's my only concern. Is it an injury that's going to keep him from playing? If not, I'm cool. This is. Technically, we'd be going into our first preseason game this week.
Yep.
So
yep.
I'm not tripping. I don't think it's a situation, but what you think, Kenyon?
Well, this is going to be really short. I don't think anything about it because it's not a story.
There you go.
He had an ankle injury. He said he had an ankle injury. As Sim said, I cheated too. I watched the interview. I watched his post game after practice today, Dotson, and he said he had an ankle injury. He said ankle injury, and it lingered. It didn't heal the way he wanted to heal, so he couldn't get out there. And as Sim said, he got the blood spinning technique, which is they replace your blood. Is I guess supposed to help with, help you recover. And he hasn't been able to get out there. You have to understand it's the ankle injury for offensive linemen. Those can be tough sometimes. So, so for me, it's nothing. It's a nothing story because the media will blow it out of proportion. Or if you read it, you would think one thing what Tomlin said, but Tomlin was correct. I think I texted Sim, and Sim was like, yeah, what else can he say? He hasn't been out there. I mean, what do you want him to do? You know what I mean? He hasn't earned any. He doesn't have any credit yet on the Steelers. If you know what I mean, he doesn't have any credit because he's not Ben. He's not. He's not Joe Hayden. He's not. He's a second-year player. So that's it. That's all I have to say about Dotson. I'm looking forward to seeing him run with the first team. That's where I'm at. So
that's it. And if we don't see that, then we'll have more concern.
Yep.
Let me see where else we want to go, man. Made a couple more notes here. Oh man, special. I mean, it's crazy because obviously you knew how many Steelers were going in, but then you didn't all the way realize it until you saw it. But then when I stopped and thought about the fact that how crazy is it that Bill Cowher goes into the Hall of Fame with 2 players that he drafted. That's insane. Like that's tradition. And I love the fact, man, this is just a sidebar. And again, this is not me campaigning for anybody because I love every single coach that I personally have seen and even love Chuck Noll, even though that wasn't my era. The man got us 4 championships. And, if you know the story, the Steelers weren't that good until Chuck came around. And it took him a while.
Nope.
And then they drafted that mega team that pretty much most of them dudes, the starters, are in the Hall of Fame. And then you get undrafted guys like Donnie Shell. Come on, man. I mean, the Steelers was doing something right. But, man, to keep hearing everybody big up Tomlin, I thought that was a nice gesture. Everyone was saying, and there will be another Hall of Fame coach. I love that because, again, I think the fans sometimes forget. Because here's what kept coming up, man, and I know this is kind of sidetracking. I kept seeing, I don't know why we do this as fans. I kept seeing so much, I would take Cal over Tomlin, and I think, speaking of which, I don't know if you saw it. I haven't seen the whole thing. I just saw the clip, but I'm going to go back and watch it. Ryan Clark, Ike Taylor, and Troy Polamalu did a podcast on Ryan Clark's podcast. And apparently Ike Taylor said, it was quoted that he said he would take Cowher over Tomlin, but it wasn't in a disrespectful way. From the quote that I saw, he said, nah, don't get it twisted. He said, Coach T is my man. He knows all the X's and O's. It was just some other things like personality-wise that drew him to Cowher. And then with all due respect, who drafted him? I mean, you know what I'm saying? Or right. Not even, who did he play for first? So it's like,
right.
People took that. I don't get the fans. They took that like it was a shot. No, that ain't no shot. That's just, it just is what it is. That was the man he played for first. Remember, Tomlin came in, all of you guys that criticize him, he won with Cowher's team. That's what y'all say. So why is that such a shock? Like, it's funny how I don't know why we always try to throw dirt on the team that we love. I don't get it. Mike Tomlin is our coach right now. I'm going to root for him to be the best he can be, and we're going to point out his negative flaws like we always do, and that's what we all should do. But I'm not going to sit around and try to kick him. I don't get it. Weird. But anyway, I thought the Hall of Fame was great, man. I thought Polamalu's, his speech was great. And, him usually being a guy that doesn't have so many words, soft-spoken as he is. It was just good, man. And honestly, and I'm sorry, Steeler Nation. I didn't get a chance to watch Faneca's speech yet. I plan to do that tonight. But, yeah, I think it was great. I thought it was great, man. And, again, to be able to go into the Hall of Fame for a team that, you coached, you born and raised in Pittsburgh, and you go in with 2 players that you drafted. That's never happened before. So, again, another notch for the Pittsburgh Steelers being a high-quality organization that we all have grown to love. So, that's all I got, man. What was your thoughts on the whole thing?
Well, I'm older than you, so me growing up, I experienced those 70 Steelers. I experienced the Cowher years. I'm experiencing the Tomlin years. So it's just weird that, you can see, Tomlin's going to be there in the Hall of Fame. It's almost like a done deal. As Troy Aikman pointed out, he said it's like if you look at the numbers, it's a done deal. It's over. You know what I mean? So for the people that, when people try to, people have revisionist history. They look at Cowher like he won 4 Super Bowls, like he won 3 Super Bowls. My bad, like he won 2 Super Bowls. They got the same record. If you say it's your players, if you say it's this and that, Cowher lost. The Steelers lost the AFC Championship multiple years. I don't know if people remember this. They lost multiple years. Cowher has had losing seasons. I remember. I was young. I used to watch them lose. I used to have to suffer through that. So it's interesting how people look at coaches, because I look at Tom, I'm saying he's never had a losing season. He's never had a losing season in the NFL. Think about that.
Crazy.
So I always look at that when he says he took over for somebody's players. So essentially, it's almost like it's similar to what George Seifert, if people remember George Seifert. People said George Seifert wasn't a great coach because he got Bill Washington's players. He inherited Joe Montana. Look, he still got to coach him, because there are examples of people who take over teams and then they fall off. So, you know what I mean? So you have to look at it both ways. You have to have the ability to coach people. And Tomlin has done a great job. I just recall John Lynch talking about him and saying, John Lynch said, look, this guy right here, I knew what he's going to become, because he took over for Herm Edwards in Tampa Bay as a young DB's coach. And, Lynch said, without you, I wouldn't have got here to the Hall of Fame. This is before the game. I'm like, yo. So this Tomlin disrespect for whatever standard that you have, and especially if you're younger and you try to come at me and say, yo, we expect this and that. Like, if you didn't see it. So if you didn't see it, how are you going to tell us what the standard is? You know what I mean? Tomlin the standard was Chuck Noll. They won 4 Super Bowls in 10 years. That's the standard. That's their standard. So, Bill Cowher was the next guy. And look, I love Bill Cowher. But Tomlin and Bill Cowher, to me, I'm not going to choose. And I tell you what is right. Troy Polamalu and Ryan Clark can all say, yo, Cowher's our guy, because that's who they play for first. It's just natural. You know what I mean? Just like if Lawrence Timmons came on the podcast, he'd probably say Mike Tomlin's my guy. You know what I mean? Because that's who drafted him. You know what I mean? Or Lamar Woodley. So, Tomlin's accomplishments to me, and he's not done. And, as we always talk about, look, you have to appreciate guys when they're here, while they're here. He came into Pittsburgh. He loves Pittsburgh. He's embraced it. His family's embraced it. He does the best that he can do. And, you can say Ben is a Cowher pick, but look, he's been just as much time with Tomlin as he has with Cowher. So longer actually. So if you look at it, Ben won a Super Bowl for Tomlin, but there was other pieces. Lawrence Timmons won, Ferrier won. I mean, you can't, it goes both ways. So I just try to embrace the coaches, because ultimately in the end, it's all about the Steelers brand. And obviously they're doing something correct to have hit on 3 coaches in my lifetime, and they all are great coaches. Other organizations can't say that. The Cowboys can't say that. The Chiefs can't say that. The Patriots can't. Look, when Bill Belichick is gone, that's going to be interesting. That's going to be funny to me, because we're going to really find out then. So, as far as the other Hall of Fame speeches, I appreciate all of them. You always have to give a salute to Bill Nunn. Without Bill Nunn, you do not have the 70 Steelers. You just don't. That's the greatest draft class. He did it. I mean, he won 6 Super Bowls being a Steelers scout, or whatever you want to call him. But without him, you don't get Donnie Shell, Hall of Famer. You don't get Mel Blount, Green, Hall of Famer. Joe Green, Hall of Famer. You don't get those guys. You know what I mean? And there's one person that's missing that I think will eventually get in. Even before Hines Ward. I know people don't want to hear this, and I know Faneca waxed and gave love to Hines Ward, essentially trying to set up to get him in the Hall of Fame. and he may eventually get there. I think he's a borderline guy, but he may get in there.
Yeah.
But the guy that they're missing, is L.C. Greenwood. L.C. Greenwood should be in the Hall of Fame. He has the most sacks in Steelers history. he has one more sack than Mejo Green. So you have to put him in there. He had the gold shoes on in the 70s. He was rocking the gold shoes in the 70s. Nobody was doing that. So, L.C. Greenwood, he should have been in the Hall of Fame. If you had a real conversation, even before Donnie Shell, because he was more dominant. He did more stuff. You know what I mean? So, to me, I look at it like there's one more guy to get in, and I think Hines will get in. I just think it's going to take a while. It's a log jam at wide receiver. So,
it's a lot of wide receivers, man.
A lot of wide receivers. So, do I think he should get in? Yes, because I think Hines Ward, the numbers don't tell the story. He was so unique at what he did. He changed the game. I mean, they had to change the rules for him. I always look at it this way. If they have to change the rules for you, you have done something that nobody else has been able to do in football. And you know what I mean, Sam. They changed the rules about playing man coverage because of Mel Blount. Because he was a 6'4" corner, and he would just, you know what I mean? He would take receivers out of games. So it's, that's how I look at it. I think that as far as the other, look, all the positions, I was happy Peyton Manning got in. I'm not even I'm not a Colts fan, but I was just happy Peyton Manning got in. I was happy, Charles Woodson, serenading his mother. That was dope.
Oh, that was crazy. Yeah.
I mean, you can't sing, but that was dope. but
stick to football, sir.
Yeah, you're right, exactly. So it was a great weekend. That was unprecedented. I was glad Jimmy Johnson got in. Look, Jimmy Johnson has been given a disservice by Jerry Jones. Now I know people don't want to hear that, but he has. He disrespected Jimmy Johnson. And if you look at it, it's the reason why Dallas has never been back. It's really interesting. That move that Jerry Jones, and it was all about ego. Don't ever let people tell you that ego doesn't destroy relationships. It does. And because it was just, you don't do that. They could have won more Super Bowls, or been in contention. So, it's I was happy for Jimmy. I was happy for everybody got in, man. Like you said, I love Troy. Look, man, it's another USC guy getting in. I'm a big up USC, man. So that was a good thing. You know what I'm saying? And also on a side note, I want to say rest in peace to Bobby Bowden. That's Sim's team. That's the boy.
Yeah, man.
Rest in peace to Bobby Bowden. He did so much for football. He made Florida State a power. I mean, they were a technical school before he got there, and he turned them into a power. You know what I mean? And without Miami, they probably would have dominated Florida. But Miami was there, so he had to always deal with them. So
the U was a problem.
It's just U was an issue. So, but respect to Bobby Bowden, and but I was cool with the Hall of Fame. We'll never see that again. We'll never see that many Steelers get in. Man. So everybody, Faneca, come on, man. Faneca probably should have been in last year. So, I'm just happy for all the Steelers that I got in. It was great to see the terrible towels waving, man. It was so packed on that Saturday Hall of Fame, seeing all those terrible towels, man. They took over, man. That was lovely, man. So, I know people like to claim Dallas is America's team. Nah, man. The Steelers are America's. They're the world's team, man. If you look at how they travel everywhere they go, there's Steelers fans everywhere. There's a million Steelers fans in LA, and I live in LA. And I tell Sim this all the time. I see them all the time. And I'm not even rocking Steelers gear, and I see it. So
poor San Diego, they take over San Diego.
Come on, man. They took over LA.
That's why the Chargers left.
Come on, man. They took over LA and Carson. And here's the weird thing: they're going to take over SoFi when they go play. When they come out here this year. Listen, man. The Steelers fans in LA, man, it's crazy. So, it was a great weekend, and I just wanted to feel like we need to talk about that because that's our squad. We have to, give them their props, and it was just a great weekend, man. I was happy for that.
Yeah, man, definitely rest in peace to Bobby Bowden, man. I definitely did not realize that he was 91 years of age, man. So the only if there's a good side to it, the man lived a long, fulfilled life. So rest in peace to him and his family. Yeah. Let's shout out a couple of these donations, man. Round of applause. That's a tricky name there. I think you're trying to get me to curse. Round of applause. He says, look at that last part of the name. But he says,
right.
true, Cowher power was Marty Ball, like Cowher just got the right quarterback. Yeah, man. And again, I love Bill Cowher. You know,
Yep.
everybody love the chin, man. You know,
Yep.
that's that man right there.
Yep.
But y'all gotta stop acting like Mike Tomlin ain't been the dude for us. You know, whether you hate or love him, there's nothing that you can say that he doesn't check boxes if you compare him to Cowher. And neither one of them can you compare to Chuck. No, I mean, come on, chips. But
come on.
I'm just saying, this is an unbiased opinion. I love them both. Period. I like the coaches that I have been blessed to see and my tenure as a Steeler fan. And Jerry Dixon, didn't have a message there, but again, thank you for the donation. Round of applause. Let's see what else we got. We got a couple things to get into, guys. I just thought I saw a comment that I wanted to reply to. Maybe not. Maybe not. I will say this, guys. Listen, it's funny to hear me say this as a Steelers fan because I've only seen 2 coaches. How crazy is that? 2 with my own eyes. They don't get rid of coaches fast, but I can say it's fair for fans to feel like, man, when we going to get another championship? It's fair. I get it. We are spoiled, though, because you think about other franchises that has never gotten to the Super Bowl, other franchises that's never made it to the Super Bowl. And we have been the team that not only has 6 of them, but has been in a bunch and always had been in the hunt. So I understand why it's uneasy that we don't win, but sometimes you got to just face the facts. But what I was going to say is, I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'm not opposed to if the Steelers wanted to try to, you know, blow things up and completely go another direction, I would still support them. I'm not advocating for it, but I could see where fans would say, come on, man, like how many more years before we get one? But I also feel like when you got a good coach, you know, it gets to a point where I think it's the talent of the team, man. Because a coach that ain't no good definitely is going to have some losing seasons. And that's where the no losing seasons has merit to me, is that how you do that? How you not have a losing season with Duck Hodges and y'all's favorite boy, Mason Rudolph? Like, how you do that? No AB, no Le'Veon Bell, no big. How do you do that if you are a bad coach? You know what I'm saying? So I'm cool with it, man. I'm cool with it. What's going on with McEldo here with all of the the clown emojis? But anyway,
how do you do that in the AFC?
Yeah.
That's why that's my thing. Like, how do you do that in the AFC? In the era where the Patriots were dominant. Mm-hmm. So think about that. So in the era where the Patriots were dominant, you've never had a losing season. I want you to think about that. And then Kansas City rises. Think about that. And he's never had a losing season. Now, he may get one eventually, but that run is unprecedented. That's an unprecedented run. And you can't, Steelers fans are spoiled. I always laugh, me and Sim always joke. I joke with Sim and I was like, yo, Steelers fans, they almost on the same level as Lakers fans. And I'm in LA. I mean, Lakers fans are the most spoiled. I mean, it's crazy. It's just like, you should see how Lakers fans going crazy right now because of Russell Westbrook, who can't shoot. That's my dude. He's from UCLA, but can't shoot. So it's just the expectations. It's like, I understand that we have expectations. You want to win every year. It's hard to win, man. It's hard to win every year, man. It's hard to be considered a favorite. I mean, you look at it this way. There are Cleveland Browns fans that are running in the streets thinking that the Browns they say the Browns are back, and I always say back to what? Because they never won a Super Bowl. Like, right. They've never been in the Super Bowl era. They've never been to the Super Bowl. Think about that. So in our division, the Cincinnati Bengals have been to the Super Bowl in our lifetime. Think about that. They've been twice. So I always look at it like, it's what do you want? It's like, I don't know, man. I just try to look at the big picture. I can't lose my mind if I don't go. Am I competitive? Yes. I want to go every year. You want to win every year, but it's just not the reality. You don't know. Things have to fall your way. Free agency changes the scenario. It's all these things are factors in what goes on. And you can criticize Tomlin for his clock management, as Sim always does. Sim always does that. Clock management, trying to overturn plays. That's Sim's thing. He'll text me be like, why is he doing that? And it never happens. It's gonna happen in about a month. Sim is gonna text me and say, we're gonna have that conversation. I already know it. So but look, you have to give the guy his credit. He won Super Bowl. He's been to two. He's been to two. So you can try to. There's nothing really you can say. If he wins another one, my thing is if he wins another one, and to be honest with you, I don't know if he'll win another Super Bowl with Ben. I think it might be another guy that, you know what I mean, where they win a Super Bowl. Do I think he can win with Najee as a running back? Yes. I think they can actually get there. With TJ, yes, I think that can happen. With Minka, yes. And we definitely need to get into the TJ and the Minka, that's in the safeties and, what we saw. So, but that, you have to give Tomlin his credit. And one thing I love about Tomlin, man, is when he hires coaches, he hires guys and he gives people shots. And you got to give him his credit for that. You know what I mean? I give him respect for that, because letting Adrian Clem become the offensive line coach, I remember when it first happened, and when me and Sim texted about it. And I do remember when we came on the show, people was like, who is that guy? Is he going to be better than the last guy? Everybody's not going to hit. Our last O-line coach was, people wanted him out in a second. But Adrian Clem has changed the mentality. To hire Matt Canada, to bring him in, those are all great, solid hires. He's done great things. Look, I don't like all his hires, but the Keith Butler thing, that's not on Tomlin. That's the organization thing right there. So, I just give him his credit, and he just gets respect from me. We're all gonna get mad. We all want the expectation to win, but look, it's just look, there's no Jordans on the team. You're not going 6-0 in the finals. You know what I'm saying? You're not going. You know what I'm saying? It's not happening. Football is a different sport. So that's all I have to really say about it. I just want people to just. I mean, I guess you can have your opinion, but I just, I'm with Sim. I just shake my head sometimes, man. Sometimes I can get out of hand with it, because you may say something in the chat and lose it. I try to control myself. I'm the opposite. Me and Sim are both Aries, but I think Sim's son has grounded him. Me, I don't have that, so I don't have the ability to do it. I can just be myself. I can just let it go. You know what I mean? So I'm trying to take a little bit from Sim. I have my peace moments, but there are days where I can lose it. You know what I mean? I am human. You know what I mean? So it's. But people are tired of the opinion. I just think Tomlin has been a great coach. I mean, that's all you can really say.
He has.
That's it.
Yeah, I mean, the numbers show it. If Bill Cowher just went in the Hall of Fame, then guess what? Some of y'all are going to be mighty pissed off, because Mike Tomlin will be going.
He will be going in
the Hall of Fame. It's solidified now.
He will be a first ballot guy.
But yeah, man, real quick, I wanted to read Lanisha's comment here, and then right after that, man, jump right into the safeties. I'll let you kick that off. And I think that's probably where we'll wrap up. We'll talk about them, maybe talk a little bit about Najee. And I think we probably have hit it all at that point. But she said the Bills went to the Super Bowl 4 times and still haven't won. Man, I'm going to tell y'all right now, if that had been the Steelers, I don't know what – I can't take that. I can't see the football gods know that I could not take that. Can y'all imagine if that was our team? 4 straight attempts to win the chip. Like, you in the game to win it and you don't get it done. It's crazy, because you got to look at the Bills as that's very impressive and very sad at the same time. Like, how you go to the Super Bowl 4 straight years? That's crazy. But you don't come away with none? Could y'all imagine if that was the Pittsburgh Steelers? Or if a Mike Tomlin-led Steelers? Oh, my goodness. Y'all would be ready to – boy. Yeah, so let's just be happy that we don't have those type of stories to tell. But yeah, man, what did you see out of the secondary as far as those guys that were out there?
Yeah, I like I wrote my notes, man. I
like that boy Pierre. I know that much.
I wrote this. Trey Norwood does not want to tackle.
No, he don't.
There are multiple plays where you can see this happen. The Dallas Cowboy fullback caught the ball in the flat. You know what play I'm talking about, Sam?
Yeah.
Trey Norwood won no parts of that, man. He didn't run to the guy. He ran away from him. He was like, "No, I want no parts of this." He
turned his back on him.
He turned his back. I was like, "What are you doing?" It's like Trey Norwood. Look, he's not a tackler, but he does have a skill that none of those other safeties besides Mika has, which is he's a good coverage guy as far as like covering. You know, I mean, he can. He didn't get the pick, but there's multiple reports that he's getting picks and tips and getting picks in practice. So Trey Norwood, he's going to be a project, and I don't know if he'll ever be a guy that can tackle, but he's going to be a project.
That's one person I forgot. Yeah, that see how fast you forget the roster. Remember, I was saying that there's a spot there, but
that's what you said. That's what we're talking about. Yeah. That's why I said I disagreed. I disagreed because I think Trey Norwood is a guy, and they said he might get a shot in the slot.
I think he makes the team.
I think he might make the team. So Trey Norwood was besides the tackling, everything else I like about him. I know Steiner got the pick. That was a great play by Steiner. He's a long shot. He's a long shot to make it though. I like him, but I really want to see him a little bit more. Our boy James Pierre, as Sim says, Sim was texting me saying, "Look, I like the way that he presses up." And let me just say this about Lynch.
But he gave up a catch though. He gave a catch up.
He gave up a couple catches.
So he's not that good, Kenyon, right? Because Pierre gave up a few catches.
Right. And here's the funny thing: he gave up the same amount of catches as Justin Lane. If you watch the game, they gave up the same amount of catches. And people say, "Well, Lane got burnt." I said, "Yeah, but Lane caused a fumble. He didn't quit." So you can say is Pierre better than Lane? Yes.
Absolutely.
Is Lane a scrub? No. But Lane just he's being outplayed right now. And I think Pierre, if he keeps playing the way he's playing, the Steelers will have to make a decision. I think he's already in dime. I think they have to make a decision to nickel. Do you move Cam to the nickel and play that spot over Antoine Brooks So to me, as a whole, I mean, I even like our boy, what's our boy? Keep forgetting his name. 38. Our boy with the dreads. Our boy
Denmark.
I mean, he broke up a play. He got beat too. Look, here's the reality. You're gonna get beat. And I'll just tell you guys this. You lucky Dallas didn't play their starters. I'm gonna leave it right there. You lucky they didn't play their starting receivers. You lucky that Pierre didn't have to cover CD Lamb. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, go to Twitter and go watch the number one quarterback in the NFL, who everybody says is the best quarterback, Jalen Ramsey, try to cover CD Lamb in practice. This just happened 2 days ago. Now you go watch that, and you come back and tell everybody gets burnt. Everybody gets burnt. But I like Pierre. He's very aggressive. I like what he does. He plays more up, and I like that he plays man-to-man, very physical. I like that. So I was kind of cool with what the DBs did that day. I was very good with it. So we'll see. 3 more games.
You know what, man? Mr. Winningham just brought up a good point, and I just wrote back to him because I used to complain about this a lot until I started paying attention. The Steelers do this a lot. It's rare that you see, or if any time that you see that both corners are playing tight. It's usually one guy's playing tight. Sometimes they're pressed, which you saw. Pierre did a lot of. That's our press guy because he was even when he was in bail, it was more like shadow than just bail. Like he's right in your face. Right. But Justin Lane, a lot of times they had him playing off, and you guys can go all the way back even to the Dick LeBeau days. And it just seems like the Steelers LeBeau Butler scheme don't really go balls to the wall, man, and just play both dudes up tight. It's by design, I'm sure, So I'm not going to discount, and knock Justin Lane for playing off, because I personally think, and this is just me, from playing football, ain't no way that's just his technique. Like, the coach has got to be telling him line up this way. You know what I mean? Like, because if it was the player doing it, at some point the coach could be like, "Hey man, what you doing?" Or they gonna bring somebody else in there. But even even when Joe Hayden and Nelson was out there, it was still the same way. You rarely saw them both play tight. So I don't know.
Yeah, I think one guy. Yeah, you're right. One guy plays off and one guy plays tight.
Yep.
It has to be scheme, because I think they may think about it like, yeah, it has to be scheme, because I don't think you're right. They never. I think the only game I've ever seen Pittsburgh play press the whole game was, remember the Patriots game a couple of years ago when Tom Brady was still there, years ago, when they played press man, because Brady used to kill him was killing them with that zone, and they said, no, we're gonna play press man the whole game. And that was the first time. That's the only time I really seen them do that. So I do agree with you.
Is that when we had Keenan Lewis?
Right.
Still, Cortez Allen.
Yeah, it's Cortez, Keenan Lewis, and we just played press the whole game. But I do agree with you. I think, it has to be scheme. And I think that it's, look, the reality is Lane is just, Pierre's outplayed Lane. But I'm not going to say Lane is trash. I'm not doing that, because, he did cause a fumble. He did make up the ground. He did get a penalty called on him.
But I don't know what he was doing on that play. He won't even come on.
I have no idea.
Turn your head at least. Like, I mean, you got to know the rules. Come
on, man.
Even if you grab, just turn your head real quick. They might not call it, because they'll say you look for the ball. You know what I'm saying?
But, I don't know. So yeah, that's as far. Yeah, I agree with you. I think it's Mr. Winningham. You are correct. I think it's just it's scheme. It's scheme. It's
got to be scheme. Yeah.
Yep.
Real facts, man. Thank you for the donation, first of all, and I'm going to try this round of applause. Hopefully you guys are hearing it. When I use this software, it's different than when I'm by myself, so some of the sound effects you guys might not hear. But thank you for the donation. He says he loves Tomlin, but how confident are you guys in him picking the next quarterback after Ben based on the QBs he's taken? Is that fair to ask right now? Saw this question in a forum and thought it was a pretty good one. I can answer that really quick. Honestly, now I got to wait and see, because I think going forward, Mr. Canada is going to have something to say about the quarterbacks that they select. Because you got to remember, the scheme is different. And speaking of which, did y'all notice some of them formations out there? And I think it was, like Kenya said, kind of vanilla.
That was vanilla.
But I still saw, you saw your motion, but I'm talking just formation. I saw a whole lot of lineup, like almost H-back type lineups, like where even they had what's his name? Edmonds was playing, like off the line. It was a lot of that, like some unique bunch situations.
Yeah.
So I think, to be fair to that question, man, it's gonna, the scheme is gonna determine what type of quarterbacks we look for. So I mean, I hate to say it, but that's TBD. I think nobody knows what type of quarterback after Ben Roethlisberger. I think it's very possible that you're going to see a more mobile guy. I mean, that's where the league is going. I would say it would be more Russell Westbrook-ish than Lamar Jackson. I still think the Steelers keep that kind of balance, but yeah, man, I don't think we can answer that right now, because, since Tomlin has been there, it's been the statue type of quarterback, even though there's been quarterbacks that we've taken that I was kind of like, huh? I didn't understand that, like the Dennis Dixons of the world and people like that. I was like, even Josh Dobbs. I honestly don't know why we went that direction, but we didn't utilize them really. But yeah, we'll see.
I mean, the best way to answer that is this: Tomlin's not making the quarterback selection.
Yeah,
it's gonna be Coleman, and then also they'll have a say, but they don't have the but they won't ultimately make the decision. And then also,
I said my bad, guys. I keep saying Westbrook because I've been watching the Lakers.
Yeah, right. Thinking about that.
Yeah. Russell Wilson, man. Y'all know who I'm talking about.
And then also just to talk about, I'm not getting to the draft, but just if you think about the quarterbacks that are scheduled to enter the draft in 2022, and if you look at those quarterbacks and specifically quarterbacks that I may have mentioned to you guys, most of them are mobile guys. And I think Canada will want a mobile guy more so than a guy who can't. Because if you look at the game, just look at the game. There were a couple of plays when Dwayne Haskins got in there, when Dobbs got in there, they rolled out. He wants a mobile guy. He wants a guy that can roll out, be mobile, run with it, use his legs. That's another. We do have to mention the quarterbacks in their performance in the game too. We didn't talk about that. So, we got to talk about that. But yeah, I think it's going to be a mobile guy. I think it may be a bridge quarterback, and you have to also remember the Steelers haven't been in a position to draft a quarterback high since Ben. You have to look at it like that. And as Tomlin always says, I don't ever want to be in that position. I don't ever want to be in a position where I have a chance to choose in that position. So it's the Steelers, that would be a trade up. And with the quarterbacks that's coming out this year, as I've told you guys before, I'm just trying to prepare you. There will be at least 5 that I could see playing in that Matt Canada system. There are at least 5 in college right now that will be eligible to come out that I will look at. And, I'm not getting into the names. I told you guys, but just, I'll be watching them in college this year. I do watch college football. As Sim always says, Sim is a little bit, he takes a little bit more easy. I give him notes and then he'll pick up on the guys. But to me, there are a couple of guys that are, I can see them in the Steelers offense and it'll be, yeah. I mean, there are guys that are in college right now, like as Sim says, Matt Corral, he was watching somebody else and discovered and was high on Matt Corral. And I do agree with Sim. Matt Corral is a guy that could skyrocket up draft boards. He can run. He has all the tools. So, it's going to be interesting. I would just, we'll get into that as the season goes on. I have an idea already, but yeah, you have to think about, he won't really be making the decision. We'll have input, and as Sim said, Canada will have input. So, but ultimately it will be Coleman. That's his thing. So we'll see in the next 2 years.
And speaking of the quarterback play, man, we almost forgot that. I went back and looked. Listen, Mason Rudolph didn't play as bad as I thought. I was actually wrong on the post-game show. He didn't play that bad. He had a bad throw to, I think that was Washington, coming across the middle. Other than that, man, I liked his accuracy on those out routes. He hit Claypool on a couple of those. There was a timing issue with the fumble, obviously. I mean, you can put that on him, but when you kind of look at the play, maybe we're still getting used to the motion type of stuff because clearly Claypool was way ahead of him. And it's a bang type of thing. So it's not like Rudolph just decided to throw it. He expected him to be there. So other than that, Claypool drops the third down, and it's funny. I heard the commentator, I don't know which one of them said it, but they was like, maybe if he puts it on Claypool, no, it was right in his hands. He's supposed to catch that. He's supposed to catch that. And maybe that's the play that one of you guys was saying on Thursday that he was trying to get Claypool killed. No, that was a quick slant. Yeah. So I think safety or linebacker, whoever that was coming, but it hit your hands, bro. I mean, when you get 2 hands on the ball, got to catch that. So I don't think he played bad. I don't think Dwayne Haskins played bad. Granted, it was a lot of short stuff, but to me, it was more so me looking at how he processed the field. He looked comfortable. Quite often you saw the Cowboys blitz, and he didn't look like he panicked. He stood right in there. One time, he was almost got hit and was able to get it out to the left side. He looked comfortable. Like, to me, that's what I was looking for from him once I noticed that it was more dink and dunk. He did take a shot, down the left side and overshot it, but I think they both played pretty well, man. But I gotta eat my words a little bit. I was getting on Rudolph a little more on Thursday, but I think Rudolph probably had the better night. Dobbs, y'all know I have nothing against Dobbs. I just feel like it's a losing situation for him. And what I mean is this. If Dwayne Haskins continues to play okay, just off of pure business, you're going to keep Haskins. He's younger. You know what I'm saying? Well, not too much younger, but he's younger. And he's the new tool. You know, it's like, you know what Dobbs is. It's like, is Dobbs. Here's the thing. This is how the organization, I'm sure, looks at it, folks. Not us. Organization-wise. Dwayne Haskins is a guy with high pedigree. He was the number 1 draft pick. Kevin Coleman has came out and said himself, I think he came out too early. Mike Tomlin has said, you know, this could be a guy. Maybe we got to steal. They're going to stick with him if he continues to play decent. They're not going to take Dobbs over him. To me, that makes no sense. They don't think Dobbs will ever be the franchise guy. The only caveat to that, can he run Canada's offense? Maybe. Then, you know, maybe that gives Dobbs new life. And speaking of which, Kenyon, this is what's going to be interesting to see. Saw a lot of rollouts, bootleg, boot action, play action. Is Ben going to be doing that? So it looked cute, right? You know, even you text me, was like, oh, it's good to see Haskins on the. Are we going to see that from Ben Roethlisberger? And that's where I caution you guys, because Kenyon told y'all a few weeks back, hey, man, listen, we're not going to see the full gamut of Canada's offense because, you know, Ben can't, no disrespect, but he can't do that. He ain't at a stage of his career where he's going to be doing that all game. So that is an interesting part of that. You know, we saw a lot of that when Haskins and Dobbs was in there, even a little bit when Rudolph was in there. Are we going to see those type of bootlegs and things like that when Ben Roethlisberger's out there? Now, I'm not saying Ben is too old to do it because, you know, the right type of bootleg, any quarterback is going to get, you know, a free shot unless the end crashes or whatever. But if you do it correctly, you can get anybody space. We'll see. But I think the quarterbacks played well, man. And like I said, I'm going to go back on what I said. Rudolph probably right now is still sitting at number 2. But we got more games to see, and we got, you know, we're going to have way more to talk about as the preseason continues to go. But that's all I got on it.
Yeah, it's pretty much the same thing. I just think Haskins' upside is they're gonna dig deep into Haskins, and they're gonna really try to feel like they got to steal. I think as Sim said, I don't think we'll see that full offense. I think you'll see a variation of the offense. The beauty of Matt Canada is he can adjust to pocket passers. I think he would ideally want a guy that can roll out. And if you watch those rollouts with Haskins and Dobbs, when I saw that, I said to myself, that's what he wants. He wants that type of quarterback. And Haskins, if you know, he's not a running quarterback, but he can run enough to get you out of trouble. He scrambled for 8 on that one play. I love Haskins' pocket presence, and clearly of the three quarterbacks that played, he has the most tools that you can see him eventually, you know, playing. I think they still have Mason there at 2. I think it will be a battle throughout the rest of training camp, and I think that 4th game where it'll just basically be maybe Tomlin gives Rudolph a half, you know what I mean, and give Mason a half. I mean, give Rudolph a half and gives Haskins a half. We'll really see, you know, what goes on because they're both young. As I said, if they get a steal with Haskins, I will applaud it. I will give Colbert his flowers. And I will say that was like the smartest move ever. I still don't, you know, as I've told you guys, there's never been a successful Ohio State quarterback. Maybe he could change my mind. I think Fields will. So I think he definitely will change my mind on that. But that'll only be 2. There's been like 8. So, you know, that's not a good percentage. So the way I look at it is, you know,
I keep forgetting about the Ohio State stigma, man. It's real though.
Right.
It's real.
It's real. So it's kind of like, you know, you have to. Dobbs played well, but you know, people get on Dobbs. Look, Dobbs he always plays well in the preseason. He always plays well in the preseason. So I don't know how much would I take from that. He's going against 3rd, 4th stringers, guys who're not going to be on the team. You know, you don't really know until, you know, you put him in a game situation. So I think Dobbs is a long shot to make the team. I know Tomlin says, he always comes back, but, you have to forget, you did trade Dobbs away. You did cut him and release him. I understand what Tomlin's doing, but it's like, I don't know. So I think Haskins is
for Duck Hodges too, right?
Yeah,
No.
Duck Hodges. No, Duck Hodges.
Who was the third stringer?
Yeah,
it wasn't your boy, was it? Lynch?
Yeah, it might be. Yeah, it was my boy. It might be Paxton Lynch.
Because we ended up getting Duck back on the practice squad.
Yeah, it was Paxton Lynch. Remember, it was Paxton Lynch.
Paxton Lynch. Yeah, because we traded Dobbs. Yep.
Yeah. So the way I look at it is, well, look, it's a battle that we will see in these next games. Because I don't know if Ben's going to play in the preseason. I know people want to see. I don't know if you'll see him. You may see him in the third game, but I don't know if you will. And I think it's really going to be what you see out of Mason and Haskins. And, Dobbs is an outside shot. But we shall see. But, they played well, all of them. As you said, Haskins checks down. He was checking down a lot. Tomlin has started calling him check down in practice. So I think it's funny. But I think Haskins I think that's the guy that Canada was going to try to mold into like a, might be a diamond in the rough for them. Might be somebody that just picked up and eventually becomes a starter. So
yeah, man.
I can really see it now. I can really see it. So, it should be interesting, but look, it's game one, people. It's game one.
Game one of the preseason. We'll see, that's man. It. But hopefully, listen, we keep talking all this quarterback talk, and rightfully so, but listen, I don't have to spend much time on this, and we could be done after this particular topic. But that boy Najee, man, hey. And again, I know people are highlight watchers, and you don't realize it's preseason. And Najee just looks like he has it, man. He just, he just has it to me. He just got it, and he showed me exactly what I wanted to see, even in that the little clip that he played, falling forward, picking his way, finding a hole, picking up 3 to 4 to 5. Yeah, it was a play where he lost yards, but as you saw, who was that? It might have been Coward. One of them dudes got blowed up on that right side, and then the corner crashed in. I mean, that's going to happen. But Najee showed a little bit of Najee in that game, bouncing it to the outside, getting the edge, and getting the first down while being face masked. Showed he had a little bit of hands, even though it was a check down. I'm just saying, man. And, oh, man, the clip on Twitter of him against Devin Bush. Yeah. When the last time you seen a running back catch it smooth like that over the shoulder? Like, this dude looked like a wideout. He's the second coming, man. And I don't want to call him Le'Veon because he Najee. Right. But he is the second coming of that type of guy for our team. And I can't wait to watch him, man. Pass protection was there. And this was just a little bit. This was just a taste, So hopefully we're not worrying about, which quarterback throwing the ball 40 times. Right. Because we able to run the football.
Maybe he should be throwing 15 times and we just control the clock. Look, I'm with you on Najee. Look, last time I saw that, a running back do that, I'm just going to be honest. Last time I saw a running back do that was Reggie Bush. That's the last guy I saw that was beating people like that. And I'll take that back. And Christian McCaffrey, that plays for the Panthers, he used to do that at Stanford all the time. Like, they used to line him up, and it'd just be like mismatch. So Najee has it, man. I agree with Sim. He's kind of like as good as advertised. I know we love Javonte Williams, but as we said, we wouldn't be mad if he got whichever back we got, we'd have been happy with. But Najee is. I like his personality. I like the way he approaches the game. I like his style, his work ethic. I like all that stuff. And I agree. So I'm not calling him Le'Veon. And to be honest with you, they're very different backs. If you really look at them, they're different backs. Yeah. Le'Veon was what I call he was a pick with your food running back. If you guys don't understand that meaning, he sat at the table. He was picking with his greens and picking with his. He wasn't eating his vegetables. Najee sees the hole. He's trying to hit it. He's trying to eat. Yeah. You know what I mean? So it's It's a beautiful thing. Look, and I like once Kalen Ballage gets back, I'm so mad he got hurt. But Ballage was very impressive. Kalen Ballage was very impressive. So he was another back that I like. And Anthony Mcfarland, who people don't want to. Anthony Mcfarland is going to be good. He's the number 2. You're going to see him a lot. He's the number 2. He has speed. He's still learning, but he's going to be great, man. Canada's offense. I mean, it's going to be like Maryland. It's kind of going to be the same thing. So I was cool with all the running backs. You know what I mean? So, that was a good thing. I was cool with all the running backs. So, it was, as I said, Ballage played well. McFarland.
He did, man.
You got to see Snell get back on the field. You got to see Snell get back on. Look, Snell in trouble.
You better hurry up. Because Ballage, remember that one he cut up the field, like at the quick 8-9 yard? He looked good out there. And he's big. He's a bigger dude, man.
He's a bigger dude. He does the same. He's bigger. You know what I mean? And then McFarland, look, there's one play in the game, if you watch the game, where he broke out. He knew it because he pounded the ground when he got tackled. He was like, man, I should have made that. I was like, look, I like McFarland. He's going to be nice in the Matt Canada system. He's going to be nice. And if you don't notice, in practice, they are running. There are sets with McFarland and Najee in the backfield at the same time. Look, both of them go on the pattern, you got a problem. That's all I got to say. You got issues. So I was happy with the backs. I was happy with, look, they played well, for a first preseason game. That was, I give them like a B+. That's how good they played. I mean, the reason why I give them a B is because the kicker was that was horrible. You know what I'm saying? So, the kicker. But our boy, the punter, our boy.
Oh, man.
Look.
Wow.
The punting job is over with. There's not a debate no more. The punting job is over. You know what I mean? It's over now. You know what I mean? That you don't do that. That's special. That's special. So, I was impressed with him. I was impressed with him. You know what I mean? That was like talking about a steal pick. I mean, that was impressive. I mean, so he had no nerves. Look, I'm cool with it. I can't wait for Thursday. I really want to see him punt. I want to see him punt. And I've never said that. When we actually watch somebody punt. But I want to see him punt. So, yeah, Sam. Yeah.
Yeah, man. Good showing by the guys we wanted to see. Somebody came in and said, had we talked about Pierre? We did.
Yes.
But just to sum up how I feel about him, and then we can get out of here. Pierre is going to be our press corner, I think.
Yes.
The bump and run, the play tight, the 3rd and 5, try to take away quick slant and stuff like that. I mean, did he allow a couple catches? Yes, guys, it's the NFL. But what I was telling Kenyon, even during the game, he plays tight.
Yes.
Like, it won't really any times where, he was nowhere to be found. Only on one play where in that situation he was playing a bell technique and, it's a guessing game in the corner. He ran like the receiver ran like a skinny post. It's hard to recover on that. I mean, it's hard to recover on that. So he gave up the catch, but he was there to tackle it. You see what I'm saying? But if you look at the rest of that game and how in the face he was with some of those dudes, even on that one on the first drive when they, picked up the quick first down, quick slant, but he was right there.
Right.
He had another situation in the game where he broke the pass up. Right. And Killebrew almost picked it off. It's like Pierre is going to be nice. I still want to see more because, again, in my eyes, I've only seen the little that he did in the Cleveland game last year, the little that we're hearing. Well, we're hearing a lot on the practice, but then we only saw him in this game. So let's keep watching. It's too early for us to determine who guys will be or who they won't be, but it's good to see things that you're hearing play out on the field. I was happy to see that about him. Najee, even Dan Moore, I was happy, and Kendrick Green. I was happy to see these guys. What we saw on display was what we're hearing out of camp. And that's all you can ask for. So that's it, man.
I agree. And I would just say I love Killebrew. Killebrew was making plays.
He was,
like
man.
when he tackled you, he wrapped you up. There was no missed tackles. It was like I'm wrapping you up. So, I like Killebrew. Look, to me, our safety spot, as Sim said, he was talking about safety. I was like, I think it's a little bit better than we think it is.
Yeah,
I think,
it's up for grabs.
I think it's a little bit better. I think we got some depth. I mean, if you think about it, Edmonds, Minka, Killebrew, and Norwood.
Yeah, that's an eye little four right there.
Not mad at that.
And what's my man's name? The two guys in nickel.
Yeah,
Brooks and Marlette.
Yeah, Brooks and Marlette.
Interesting battle right there. I'd probably say, and again, it's not fair, but I probably say from what I saw, I'm probably leaning more Brooks right now in the nickel spot. Marlette has some, couple plays, but he gave up a bad one. Again, you give him up, but he got turned around crazy on one play. Right. But yeah, I was surprised only because I never imagined, and this is just me, some of you guys may have known, I never imagined that we'd be talking about Antoine Brooks Jr. as a nickel. I just never did. So it's impressing me to see him. He looks okay out there. Saw him blitz a few times. Saw him cut off the backside and make a tackle after a 1 yard gain. Saw him take a pass away when, they were close to the end zone and he kind of took that route away. He looked good. I know he got dinged up a little bit, so hopefully he'll get back on the field. But, yeah, man, like Kenya said, I think, we were a little worried coming into it as far as young corners and safety depth, but it might turn out to be better than what we think. So we shall see come Thursday, man. So that's all I got, man. Unless Kenya got anything else to add.
That's all I got. That's it. That was great.
So, yeah, man, I think we'll try to do a decent amount of these while we're in preseason, man. As long as Kenyon is around, I think it might be fair to say we could do it, for the remainder of the preseason, if he's available. And Deb and the ladies, listen, man, just send the email whenever y'all ready to get back on. Or Debbie, if you want to come on your own, or Lanisha. I mean, listen, it's SteelTable doesn't just have to be the guys. I only did the ladies show just to give you guys some shine on your own, but it can always be a mix and match.
Yep.
We cool with that. So, but other than that, guys,
I encourage that. I think it's good. You need to, me and Sim's opinion, for us being on the show talking about football, it's nothing to us because we do it all the time on texting. So for us, this is just this is essentially us giving y'all what we talk about texting, but I would love to hear other people, debate is great. I think it's a good thing. It's healthy. So, if you have opinions, we're always cool with it. I'm cool with it. I know Sim is, and, I'm cool with it. Can't wait to get Tony back when he's available, because Tony gives you a different perspective, and I love that. So, me and Sim, we don't disagree on a lot of stuff because we kind of see the game the same way. But so sometimes you need the other point of view, and that's how you can get a clearer picture of what's going on. But I encourage devs and anybody. Come on, man. We're trying to grow this, so it's all good.
Yeah, man. So stay tuned, man. Thursday I'll be back. We'll do a post game. I don't believe I'll be doing the other podcast. So this time, I will have way more focus on the game and. We could talk. And actually, I ended up talking about more stuff than I thought I would last week. But, there will be another post-game show after the Eagles. We'll talk about what we hated, what we loved. And then next week, we'll come back on Turbo Towel Tuesday and, give some further breakdowns on what we saw. So that's it. That's all I got. We appreciate you guys coming through. And, of course, man, if you haven't already, if you came through, if you're new, you like what you saw, you might as well subscribe. What's the point of not knowing when the videos are available? And speaking of that, cut on the notification after you subscribe, or if you are subscribed, turn on your notification. How else you gonna know that we're streaming? And of course, if you like what you saw tonight, make sure you display that in the like button. And if you dislike, you can do that as well. Makes me no difference. But other than that, catch you guys later. Y'all know what I'm always going to say. Stay well. God bless. Stay safe. Good night. Oh, we got one more Hold on, I'm gonna throw this up here because I am curious to hear Kenyon's comment on this. Shout outs to Shadow Slayer, man. Round of applause for another donation. We'll end the show with his question here. He says, do y'all watch Kevin Samuels? Well, I'll say this, and I don't watch it. Have I watched it? Yeah. One night, me and my wife just got on because he's funny. Whether you agree with him or not, it's certain things that he says and does. It just has, me and my wife silly like that. We laugh and stuff, right? So we got on a binge one night where we watched a few of them back to back to back. Listen, I'll say this really quick. And some of the ladies that might hear this, I guess you'll take it however you take it, but I think y'all will understand where I'm going with it. A lot of the stuff that he actually be saying, he's right. He is right. He's a little extra with some stuff. I don't agree with everything, but I think his the main principle that I like that he says, and again, he does it rudely, but that principle of how he gets on the women who come on his show and they want a man that makes at least $300,000 to $400,000 to $500,000 a year, and they're not bringing nothing to the table. I agree with him 100% on that. Listen, y'all as women can definitely want a man that's capable of taking care of you, of course. But just like he be saying, do you know that's a small percentage of men in the world? There ain't a whole lot of people that make that kind of money. Like technically, it's not. And what Kevin Samuels always says, well, why can't you be with a normal guy? A guy that makes 50, 60, 70 to 80, not. And they be frowning their face up on it. So on that premise, I agree with him. Some of his other stuff, like I said, he's a little wild. He's a little full of himself sometimes. But I think if you peel back the character, some of the stuff that he is saying, I actually agree with. But you can relay it a little better. But it's YouTube, guys. That's what he does. That's what makes the corn for him. That's his Stephen A, if you will. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You got to understand that too. And they be calling the show looking for that. So why they be mad? Like I'm never would do that why would you call somebody knowing what they do and then try to argue with them about what they do? Come on. But yeah, I don't know, Kenyon, if you've ever watched it or.
I saw him, man. Look, I have no comment because it's kind of. I don't even want to get into it because it's almost like why, man? Like why?
Yeah, he's wild.
It's almost like I don't have. It's look. I think people have unrealistic expectations in relationships and what their definition of relationship is. That's just my personal opinion. I think they have unrealistic expectations. If you walk into the room and you expect them to be doing this, like as Sim said, to take care of you and expect them to be doing this, at that moment, the relationship is doomed to fail. And people say, why? I said, because it's not supposed to be based on that. That's not the reason why you get with somebody. If you get married and you take vows, and I said it before, I think the word love is devalued. Like if you told people to put a list, and where would you put love? Like, do I actually love you and say those vows? Do you think it would be one anymore? Like back in the day, it would be one.
Yeah.
Do you think that would be the first thing they'll put on the list? I don't. I think it would be further down the list. It'd be top 10 still, but it'd be way down the list. And to me, that's where you have your issue. And and this goes for ladies and men. They both have that type of issue. And I think, and I hate to use a hip hop reference, but as Craig Mack said back in the day, and he said this years ago when he first came out, the black family is now prehistoric.
Yeah.
Like it's pathetic. You know what I mean? It was prophetic at that time to say that, you know what I mean? But it's the truth. I think that, I always tell people, love who you love. Love, you should try to, if you find somebody and you love them, love with your heart, you start trying to like them for your mind, and you get what you get. You get what you deserve in those situations. And, as Sim will tell you, and I know better than anybody, just because of the city I live in. It's you know what I mean. It's you know where I live at just tells me it's just a different mentality, and you know it'll be great. I always tell Sim. I told Sim this before. I said, man, you being married, that's to me, that's the goal. That's dope to me. So you know,
yeah, that comment right. That's what I'm saying. Homeboy is funny sometimes. Like he go to he's extreme sometimes. How he be breaking them down. I don't always agree with that because I'm just not a nasty person like that. But like I said, if you strip all that down, a lot of the principle stuff that he be saying, I feel him. But yeah, he ain't have to do old girl like that, man.
Yep,
yeah, he's hilarious.
Look, man, there's so many guys on YouTube that are characters. As Sim said, like Stephen A. Smith, he's a character. He's, you know, you listen to him now, it's like, come on, man. You know what I mean? It's like, you know, there's so many guys on YouTube like that. You know what I mean? You know, like Kevin Samuels. You know, you can shout out somebody like that does basketball, like Ticket TV. I don't know if you've ever seen Ticket TV.
Oh, yeah.
He's way out there, but he'll just attack you. But he gives love. To me, he knows what he's talking about. When you know what you're talking about basketball, I can't say nothing to you. You know, that's one of the few people I've ever seen that knew what they were talking about basketball. And that's saying a lot. But, you know, I respect his stuff. I respect his grind. You know what I mean? But it's, like you said, it's a show. It's entertainment, man.
It's entertainment.
So Kevin Samuels just goes, he takes it far. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, it is what it is. You know, he understands his market. And once you understand your market,
that's why I tell people all the time, man. Like even with what I do, whether it's this or even like this, sometimes when I still do little gaming stuff, if I know what to do to take off,
right?
But that ain't authentic. You know what I'm saying? Like that's just me. If it ain't authentic, I can't rock with it. So I will build it the way we're doing it. I will keep the crowd I have and hope it grows organically. But I'm telling you, it's entertainment, man. They know what to do. So I ain't mad at none of that. But
we should have been talking about, you know, bring that Shadow Slayer always come up with them outlandish questions sometimes. My man Shadow. Look, man, you should have been talking about Jadakiss destroying Dipset. Destruction.
Man.
One day Sim and I are gonna do a music. We're gonna do it because we both have different. It's just a perfect collab. We're gonna do it one day. It just connects, and we're gonna do it. But I'm just look, man.
That was a thing of beauty.
Let me just say
point blank. Period.
Jadakiss has always claimed he was top 5 dead or alive. Now, if I do a deep dive, he might not be top 5 dead because I know some people I will put ahead of him. But as far as people that are breathing right now, he got to be on the list. He has to be top 5 alive. Dead, I can find people, you know what I mean? But if I go through the history of hip hop, but look, man, what Jadakiss did to Dipset, some people, I said it before, that was a straight beatdown. That was a beatdown.
That was hip hop finest right there, bro.
Man. Yeah, man. That's all I can say about that, man. That's how good that was. Woo. I was so tempted to hit Sim up when it was going on because I was getting calls and I was like, I should just hit Sim up because I know he saw it. And I know Sim was sitting there with popcorn like, oh, this is just beautiful.
Classic.
This is just beautiful.
It was. Yeah, one day we'll do a special podcast, man, where we just talking about music because I can't even. There's so much I could say about that versus.
Woo.
But yeah, he did his thing, man. And yeah, guys, let me go chill with the family, man. I told him I'd be done a little sooner, but we're gonna go ahead and get out of here, man. For you guys who came in late, listen, go check the replay. We covered a lot tonight. Again, I'll be back. Kenyon will be back next week, but I'll be back after the game Thursday. There you have it. And then, of course, we'll do another Still Table, man. Well, like I said, we'll try to keep this going the entire preseason. And that's what we'll do. But other than that, man, again, stay well, stay blessed. Good night. And we'll catch you guys later, man. We'll see you guys Thursday night after the Eagles game, and we'll see who we have to talk about then. All right. Peace.